Hello, my name is Joshua Brown from howtobecome.com and welcome to this interview training video where I will teach you how to answer behavioural interview questions for freshers. Now, if this is your very first job interview and you don't have any experience, this tutorial is perfect for you. I'm going to show you how to answer the most common behavioural interview questions, explain why they're being asked, and give you top scoring example answers that you can use in your own preparation. Now, these type of questions often start with, tell me about a time when, or give an example of when. And if you've never had a job before, they can feel really tough. But don't worry, by the end of this video, you'll have the knowledge to know exactly how to approach them with confidence, even as a fresher. And just very quickly, before we start, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. I upload new interview training videos every single week, and I don't want you to miss out. And please give the video a like if you find it useful. It really motivates me to create more free content for you. And don't forget to comment which job role you are applying for so I can give you some personalized tips. Okay, let's get started with looking at why behavioral interview questions are asked, and then I'll share you the exact structure that you should use to impress every single time. Here we go. So why do interviewers ask you behavioural interview questions, even if you are a fresher with no experience? Well, the reason is simple. Past behaviour is one of the best predictors of future performance. Employers want to see how you've handled challenges, worked with others, or shown certain qualities, because that tells them how you might perform in their workplace. Now, if you do not have any professional experiences yet, that's okay. You can still answer behavioural questions by drawing on examples from school or university projects where you worked in a team, met deadlines, or solved problems. You can also share examples of volunteering or unpaid experiences where you took responsibility or helped others. A great example as well is personal life or extracurricular activities such as sports, clubs, or even family responsibilities where you demonstrated qualities like resilience, organization, or communication. The interviewer isn't always looking for a workplace story. They're looking for evidence that you already have the core skills that they need. So instead of worrying about what you don't have, think about the strengths and examples that you do have. And in a moment, I'll give you a simple structure that makes answering these questions so easy, even with no prior job experience. Now, the best way to answer behavioural interview questions is by using a structure. This keeps your answer clear, professional, and easy to follow. The method that I recommend is called STARR, S-T-A-R-R. Write this down. S is for situation. You start your answer off by describing what the situation was you found yourself in. You then move on to T for task. Describe what was the task that you needed to carry out. A is for action. What action did you take to achieve the task? The first R is for result. What was the end result following your actions? Make sure it's always a positive end result. And the final R stands for reflection. What did you learn from this experience? And how does it tie back to the job role that you are applying for? How does it benefit their company? That final reflection is especially powerful for freshers. Even if your example comes from school, sports, or volunteering, you can reflect on how it taught you skills that directly apply to the workplace. Here is a quick tip. Keep your answers focused on what you did, not just what the group achieved. Interviewers want to see your contribution, your decisions, your growth. If you use this STAR method, you'll never feel lost answering a behavioural question because you'll always know what to say next. Now, let's move on to some common behavioural questions for freshers, and I'll give you my brilliant top scoring answers that you can practice with right away. Write these down. Here we go. Behavioural interview question number 1 is, tell me about a time you worked in a team. A very common question. When interviewers ask about teamwork, they want to know that you can collaborate, communicate, and contribute positively to a group. As a fresher, you may not have workplace examples yet, and that's fine. Use examples from school, university, volunteering, or extracurricular activities. The key is to show that you can work well with others and take responsibility. Here is a brilliant top scoring answer to help you. Tell me about a time you worked in a team. During my final year at college, I was part of a group project where we had to deliver a presentation on a business case study. I suggested that we divide the work based on each person's strengths, and I volunteered to coordinate everyone's progress and design the slides. I checked in with the team regularly, made sure deadlines were met, and stepped in to support a teammate who was struggling with research. As a result, we delivered the presentation on time, received high marks, and my tutor praised our organisation and teamwork. Reflecting on it, I learned how important it is to communicate clearly, stay organised, and support others. Skills I know will help me succeed when working with colleagues in this role. This is a great answer because it uses a clear structure, keeps the focus on what you did, and ends with a reflection that ties your experience back to the workplace. Even though it's not a job example, it still shows teamwork, communication, and responsibility, qualities employers value. Behavioural question number 2. Describe a time you had to meet a tight deadline under pressure. Wow, a tricky question. When employers ask this, they want to see that you can stay calm, organised, and reliable when things get busy. As a fresher, you might not have had a demanding job yet, but you've definitely faced deadlines for assignments, exams, or even commitments outside of school. Show them that you can plan ahead, adapt when challenges arise, and still deliver on time. Describe a time you had to meet a deadline under pressure. During my second year at university, I had 2 major assignments due in the same week, along with an upcoming exam. To manage the pressure, I created a detailed study and work schedule, breaking each assignment into smaller tasks and setting myself daily goals. I stuck to the plan, avoided distractions, and asked my lecturer for clarification early on to make sure I was on the right track. As a result, I submitted both assignments on time and achieved high grades, and I also felt well prepared for the exam. Reflecting on it, I learned how effective planning and time management are when dealing with pressure, skills I can bring to the workplace to make sure I always meet deadlines. This answer shows you can handle pressure positively, use practical strategies like planning and prioritizing, and deliver results. Even though the examples come from studies, the skills, time management, organization, and resilience transfer directly into any workplace. Behavioral question number 3 is tell me about the time you had to solve a problem. Now, hiring managers ask about problem solving because they're looking for evidence that you can think logically, that you can take initiative, and you can find solutions instead of giving up. As a fresher, your example doesn't need to be from a job. It could be from studies, volunteering, sports, or even a personal challenge. The key is to show that you took ownership of the problem and achieved a positive outcome. That's very important. Make sure you take ownership of problems and you always achieve a positive outcome. Here is a brilliant top scoring response to help you. Tell me about a time you had to solve a problem. During my college studies, I was part of a group project where one of the team members stopped contributing and it was slowing down our progress. Instead of letting the problem get worse, I arranged a quick team meeting and suggested we redistribute the workload more evenly to keep us on track. I also offered to take on some extra tasks to make sure nothing was missed. As a result, we completed the project on time and our group achieved one of the top grades in the class. Reflecting on it, I realized how important it is to address issues early, stay calm, and work collaboratively to solve problems, all of which are skills I can use in any job role. This answer shows that you can identify issues, take initiative, and stay solution focused. Even though it's an academic example, it highlights teamwork, responsibility, and problem solving, exactly the qualities employers want to see in freshers. Behavioral interview question for freshers number 4 is, give an example of when you showed leadership. Wow, how do you answer this if you're a fresher? Now, when interviewers ask about leadership, they don't expect you to have managed a team as a fresher. What they do want to see is that you can take initiative, that you can motivate others, and you can guide a group towards a goal. Leadership can show up in small ways, in school projects, sports teams, volunteering, or even organizing an activity with friends. Focus on how you encouraged others and made a positive impact. Here is a great example answer to help you. Give an example of when you showed leadership. During my final year at university, I was asked to lead a small team project where we had to research and present on an emerging technology. I organized our first meeting, assigned roles based on each member's strengths, and set mini deadlines to keep us on track. I made sure everyone's ideas were heard and encouraged quieter team members to contribute. As a result, our presentation was delivered smoothly, and the lecturer commented on how well structured and engaging it was. Reflecting on this, I learned that good leadership is about communication, listening, and supporting others to perform at their best, qualities I will bring to your workplace. This answer works because it shows that leadership isn't just about being in charge. It's about organization, communication, and motivating others. Even in a non-work example, it demonstrates the potential to lead effectively in future roles. Interview question number 5 is, tell me about the time you failed and what you learned from it. A really tricky behavioral interview question. Now, when interviewers ask about failure, they're not trying to catch you out. What they really want to see is if you can take responsibility, if you can learn from your mistakes, and if you can improve. As a fresher, you can draw on academic, personal, or extracurricular experiences. The key is to keep failures small but meaningful, and make sure the focus is on what you learned and how you grew from that failure. Here is a fantastic answer to help you. Tell me about a time you failed and what you learned from it. In my first year of college, I underestimated how much time an important assignment would take, and I left it too late to complete it to the best of my ability. As a result, my grade was lower than what I'd hoped for. After reflecting on this, I realized that I needed to manage my time more effectively. I started using a planner, broke tasks into smaller steps, and set earlier personal deadlines. The next semester, I submitted every assignment on time and achieved much stronger results. Reflecting on this, I learned that preparation and planning are essential. And now I always take deadlines seriously, something that will help me perform reliably in the workplace. This answer shows that you can own your mistakes, you can reflect on them, and you can improve. It turns a negative, missing a deadline, into a positive story of growth, which is exactly what interviewers want to hear from freshers. So there we have it, 5 of the most common behavioral interview questions for freshers, complete with tips, structures, and example answers to help you stand out, even with no prior work experience. Now, if you want to take your preparation even further, click that link in the top right-hand corner of the video. It will take you through to my website, howtobecome.com, where I've put together a powerful resource, my 27 behavioral interview questions and answers pack designed specifically for candidates with no experience. Inside, you'll find 27 of the most common tell me about a time style questions, each with brilliant example answers that you can use to get fully prepared. These quick and easy to remember answers are guaranteed to make you the standout candidate at your next interview. You can download it instantly by clicking the link in the top right-hand corner of this video or in the pinned comment below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I post new interview training videos every week, and I'd love to help you land your first job. And if you found this video useful, please give it a like. It really helps the channel grow and motivates me to create more free content for you. Finally, I'd love to know what job role you are entering for. Please drop it in the comments below. And finally, I'd love to know what job role you are interviewing for. Drop it in the comments below and I'll give you some extra tailored tips to help you prepare. Oh, and don't forget to connect with me on LinkedIn. I put my LinkedIn link in the description below as well. It's always great to connect with like-minded professionals such as yourself. Thanks for watching. I wish you all the best of luck with your interview. You've got this.